Hey there, it's 11:02 right now. If you're watching this live on Facebook, then feel free to comment, like, share. This is going to be going on for probably the next 15 minutes before we got to get ready for our noon newscast that, of course, starts at noon. We got a couple little recordings to do before then. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and mute this so it doesn't give us some feedback. And then let's get to it. We've got a lot of rain. We already know it. Looking out the window, it is soaked outside right now. We've been talking about snow, so where is it, right? It's on its way. Winter storm warnings in effect for the pink counties you're seeing, which is mainly anything bordering the lake and then one extra county inland, mainly because of lake enhancement. And I'll explain that in a second here. The purple counties you're seeing, which is Canton, Worcester, Mansfield, I was at Route 30 and south essentially. That's where you're still going to get maybe up to 4 or 5 inches, maybe even 6 closer to Akron, but it's not going to be 8, 10, 12, where some other spots may be getting up to. Still going to have the cold, still going to have the wind, and still going to have some pretty slick roads outside. I want to take you through this. We're going to do it essentially in slow motion so we can get all this stuff, all this figured out. This is once we get through tonight into tomorrow morning. This is what we're likely going to be waking it up to. I'm going to break this down into day parts, into different little sections essentially. So between sunset and sunrise, when this is all snow, we're looking at about 3 to 6 inches for the dark blue counties. That includes Tiffin, Norwalk. Sandusky may be closer to that 2 to 5 range, closer to probably 4 realistically. Once you get closer to that lake, it's still going to be a little bit warm, and that may limit numbers. But Cleveland, Grafton, Lodi, that includes most of Medina County and parts of, the northern half of Richland and Ashland counties. You'll notice that 71 corridor is covered into this 3 to 6 inch range by sunrise tomorrow morning, by 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. South of that, number is going to be a little bit lower just because the precip's going to be a little bit lighter also. I'm going to read some of these comments in a minute here, but I want to get through all this information. I may answer your questions. Hopefully we'll answer your questions as we go. Now, what we were seeing posting all over the social media and everything were these numbers. This is what we're looking at here, I guess on this side of your screen. That's where you're getting into your 6, 8, 10, 12 inch numbers. This is from sunrise Tuesday, adding it on to throughout Wednesday, probably midday before the lake effect shuts down. That's where you get into your 4, 6, 8 inch ranges for that I-71 corridor. Cleveland, parts of most of Lorain County, Cuyahoga County, Lake Geauga and Ashtabula will be over 6 inches of snow, maybe even as high as 10 for parts of Lorain County. Now, I'm going to zoom in on this for a little bit. Actually, I'm going to try to zoom in on this. Ignore the numbers for a second. I just want to show you. See how we cut off some of these numbers right along the lake shore? It's because that lake water temperature is still at 48 degrees. So you've still got some warmth outside. So you're still going to have some of those warm little pockets that limit those numbers. But once you get a few miles inland off of that lake, that's where we're going to start talking about that realistically 10, 12 into this white here, Chardon, parts of Geauga County, 16 or more inches of snow, and that's through Wednesday. So here we go. Let's get to it. Let me show you a little more. Let's show you some more issues that we have going on here. Here's analysis mode. Here's where we are right now. Most of this is rain. Looking at some of the observations, they want to, at least the radar here is trying to show that it's already snowing in Sandusky and Mansfield. It's not. Looking at the observations, you may see a snowflake mixing in as expected. If you're watching Good Morning Cleveland earlier this morning, then yeah, we're talking about some snowflakes mixing in and then eventually everything transitioning over. We won't have accumulations or really any slick spots until we get more of that transition. Right now, ground's just super warm. A lot of rain outside, so things are super wet. It's a pretty sloppy start to the day, but we're going to start to see a couple more of those snowflakes. The radar is just trying to depict in here. It's shooting from Cleveland, and it's shooting all the way out into Richland and Ashland counties. And once it gets up in there, into the equations, you factor in some freezing air, and yeah, the radar thinks it's snowing. And you very well may have a couple snowflakes floating around, but not going to start to see any accumulations, at least not yet. We will eventually, through the afternoon, some minor stuff. But look at all this moisture coming up with this low. This low is slowly sliding essentially along the Appalachian Mountains. You can see the circulation just continues to take it up into PA. what it's doing is it's pulling all of this moisture up and around while this cold air is sliding in the backside. So that's why we're getting that transition from all this moisture, all this rain, over to snow. I want to show you a brief look outside in Akron. Still rain, still liquid. We're near 40 degrees. Now, Mansfield, you're starting to get a couple reports of some snowflakes. You just dropped to 36. That was just at 11 o'clock when we started this Facebook Live. So, yeah, you may start to have some snowflakes. Let's see if we actually have a camera view. I know we have one at Ashland University. It's going to take me a little bit to get all the way to it. Rain in Cleveland, Lorraine, rain, University Heights, liquid, it's all rain, Rocky River, rain, Worcester, and Wayne County. That all still looks like rain also. Another shot in Akron, obviously, clearly rain. Here's Ashland University, and look at the size of those snowflakes. Those are some, or were those birds? No, those are snowflakes, big snowflakes. So yeah, we've got that mixing going right now in Ashland County. So yeah, those aren't birds. Those are just big snowflakes, big wet snowflakes. So they haven't quite, what's happening is they're falling into this warmer above freezing air, and it's not quite melting in time. They're hitting the ground and they're melting, but in that process, most of the snowflakes are melting to raindrops, but not all of them. So yeah, there we go. There are our first reports of snowflakes from this, what's going to eventually be a major winter storm. In Cleveland, though, right here, you see this camera shaking around. That's that cold air trying to settle in. We're still at 42 degrees. I mean, it's still, relatively speaking, still super mild. Those dew points are at 39. That has to drop as those temperatures drop. So I think that's going to be the limiting factor in a lot of our areas today is going to be how wet the air actually is. So here's our Futurecast. This is one of our latest models here. I'm going to take you to about noon. Notice that if you're outside or been outside, it's not raining heavily like what you're seeing along the 77 corridor here in the models. You see a little blue mixing in there. That's what the models are essentially referring to as just bright banding. It's looking up into those clouds and it's looking at melted snowflakes or melting snowflakes. Just looks like big raindrops to the radar. So I do expect some light to moderate rain, but nothing heavy. Going on to about 3 o'clock, notice you're still seeing that 36 in Mansfield. So the models are picking up on that. Let's see if it had it at noon. Not quite, but it's hinting at it. So the models are just a bit off, but close enough to give us a good idea of when this is all going to transition through. So 3 o'clock, still near 40 degrees, still mainly rain. Go to about 6 o'clock and we're noticing that blue starting to invade our western counties. Fremont, Sandusky, Norwalk, Ashland, Mansfield, Worcester, Millersburg, starting to transition with some snow mixing with the rain. So we're going to see that transition approaching that I-77 corridor at, let's see here, about, I think it's going to be a little before 8. It's probably closer to about 6 o'clock. So sunset's at 5. Just after that, numbers should drop off. We'll go to about midnight here. Notice most of us, if not all of us, in the low 30s or upper 20s, and that's steady snow. All snow for everybody that's, 34 and colder, realistically. I want to point out, tomorrow morning, notice how it tapers off inland. I do think the synoptic, or the wide-scale snow shuts down during tomorrow morning's commute, but you're going to have those northwest winds coming off that lake. And look at this enhancement. Look at what's happening. We're getting a little bit of lake effect off of Huron, and that's just enhanced over Erie. So we're going to see some heavy snow in this area from about Elyria, including Medina, probably northern parts of Summit County, all the way over to about Youngstown. So this is going to be a batch to really watch tomorrow morning. Once we get beyond that, numbers are cold everywhere. Wind chills are going to be in the teens, temperatures in the 20s and low 30s through the day. And we continue with that lake effect into Wednesday until that wind turns around, until that wind all the way switches more out of the west and that lake effect heads up that lake shore and out of here. I think we're going to be dealing with what could be some pretty heavy snow. So again, just to recap, by tomorrow morning, we get the transition tonight, realistically around sunset. So between sunset and sunrise, we're looking at numbers anywhere from actually want to go back just one more. From sunset to sunrise, we're looking at about 3 to 6 in the dark blue, 2 to 5, and then slowly, gradually kind of shutting that down the farther south where there's a little bit less moisture and a little more warmth. We're looking at 1 to 4 for any of our friends, Canton and south. That's by sunrise, by 7 a.m. tomorrow. Then we add another couple inches for our southern counties, add several more inches once you factor in that lake enhancement throughout the day. I think a lot of spots in Lorain, Cuyahoga County, by Wednesday, maybe even northern Medina County, are close to a foot, 8 to 10 inches. Maybe some spots in eastern Cuyahoga County get up closer to that foot range. At 271 corridor, you got to watch that closely. And then, you know, your primary snow belt, that's where you get over the foot, 16, 18 inches, definitely doable. So here we go, quick 7-day forecast just to kind of wrap up this Facebook Live. Heavy snow tomorrow at times, shutting down through Wednesday. Maybe some sun on our western, southwestern counties. Thursday, some sun, still cold. Still probably gonna have some snow on the ground. Our ground temperatures are gonna cool off quickly with the snow on it. 36 on Friday. Light stuff possible. Should be mainly dry Saturday and then again on Sunday. So December starts tomorrow. Man alive, does it start with a cold shot of air. As far as questions, let's see here. I'm going to see if we've got any questions. I've got a couple minutes here. Carrie said it's starting to stick. I'm guessing you were near Mansfield. So, yeah, that's good stuff. Worcester's been getting large snowflakes all morning, not many, but at times. Now it's just drizzle. Yeah, we're going to get that through the day. Yvonne says Worcester. Getting some large snowflakes. They're melting as they fall, but they're not all completely melting. Most of them do fall as they, or do melt as they hit the ground. 4 minutes ago, Cynthia says accumulations in Mansfield. Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't expect much, but you're going to see them start to stick in on elevated surfaces, patios, benches, picnic tables, any chairs outside, but on the roads you should be okay for the most part. Let's see here. Any more popping up? Been snowing for over an hour. Yeah, you're going to see that mixing in there through the rest of the day today. Let's see here. And if your day today takes you farther down 71 or even over the turnpike, west or southwest on 71, if you're going to Columbus, Toledo's what I'm getting at, there's already snow on the ground, several inches of snow on the ground. ODOT's been busy for sure. Let's see here. Definitely snowing in Mansfield. Yeah, we just showed you that on the camera. Let's see here. Couple more. Asking questions about Youngstown. You'll be on the lower end of this through today. Should be mainly rain with just a couple snowflakes mixing in, but that transition happens in Youngstown a little bit later. And that looks like most of the questions, there's lots of questions on here, but most of them are already answered. Sandusky, we started with Sandusky, Claudia. In the town of Huron. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to end you really quickly, not on the 7-day. Didn't mean to leave that up. I'm going to end you with this, and we'll leave this page up for a little bit here. Pick out your town, pick out your county, and that's what we've got through the whole storm event. All right, so it is 11:15 right now. If you're watching this live, thank you so much for watching this. Again, feel free to like it, comment more. I'll be watching this. Brian's going to be watching this also. Mark will be watching this later on today as well. So we're all on this as well, and we can answer as many questions as you have. But this is it. This is what we're looking for. Feel free to share this as well. Thanks a lot, guys.